Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for joining us. It is indeed a fantastic Friday, and I hope that you're enjoying it and looking forward to the weekend. Remember, not this Monday, but the one following. We're celebrating our Heroes Day. So this weekend you might sort of think, hey, it's a pre-Heroes Day weekend celebration. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I hope you had a good day so far. And if you're out and about, either getting ready to enjoy your lunch or you're just thinking, not much longer before I will go. Maybe you're planning to work through and leave early because of activities as well. Hey, as you're doing what you want to do and you're enjoying it, hey, once you're safe, they say if it's so good, do it twice, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. We're going to have a conversation in a bit, tell you about an upcoming activity tomorrow at the South Sound Community Centre. Don't want to tell you too much until my guests arrive, but looking forward to that. And Jeffy has promised to join me in the studio. Maybe he's busily baking those freshly minted chocolate chip cookies. That's why he's late. We'll see. And if he isn't, maybe you might want to tell me what we should do with him. Huh? But he goes back on Monday, so we're always glad to not only share time with him, but to encourage him as we do all our students. And they're not just the academic pursuits, but enjoying the education. For some of us, we would never want to repeat schooling again, whether it's high school or college or otherwise. If others, we wish we never graduated, not just because the working world seems to have its own challenges. As a friend of mine reminds me, he says, he sees work like a prisoner release program. He has to be there by a certain time of day, has to stay for a certain prescribed time, and he leaves. Is required to return the next day, and that's usually 7 days a week. And when you believe that you own your own business, you have more freedom and flexibility, well, probably. But all the demands and all of the challenges and responsibilities are on your shoulders. But that's what makes us, tick for some, and what makes us not just strive for other things. The idea that we want to contribute, we want to be able to help others. A fellow shared, when he decided to follow his passions and that entrepreneurial spirit was yearning within him. He said, being an employee had, its merits. It wasn't as fulfilling. Being an employer, I always understood the challenges. That person's, monthly paycheck, of which I'm going to pay the mortgage and the school fees and all the utilities and all that. Indirectly, it's on you, because sometimes you're the rainmaker and you got to make sure that there's work in order to cut the checks to pay the staff, irrespective of what your job is. Whether you're the butcher, the baker, or the candlestick maker, all sort of rests on you. And that notion of instilling within our society that strong pursuit of that business ethos, where individuals are not only rewarded for their investment, but employees see sometimes an opportunity perhaps to spread their wings, maybe become a partner, a part owner, some sort of vested interest other than a paycheck. The fellow said that he had shared with some of his employees a few years ago. He thought maybe the timing was bad, but he wanted to kind of step back from the business, didn't want to give it up altogether, didn't want to just leave somebody to manage, he wanted them to have an interest. And he offered up the word I would use, the phrase I would use, is a sort of employee share ownership, opportunity. They come in and they buy into the company. But he found that there were two things. One, even though he was of the view that his employees were being paid, at least if not handsomely, certainly competitively, certainly, he felt that it was fair. And two, he thought, well, if they're making this, probably they're able to save. Now, he understands that not everybody saves for a rainy day, not everybody looks long term, not everybody willing to sacrifice. No. But when the employees started to consider the offer, they were very, very surprising to learn that, one, they didn't really have that much disposable income, anything save and investments, anything they could draw on. And then two, despite there being a great sense of sort of awareness and intellect and the like of financial matters, he said, we have 100 shares in the company. You take one share, well, you got 1%. You get 20 shares, you got 20%. Fairly simple, math problem to understand. But he thought that some of them, in trying to come to grips with that, there was just reluctance. Not only were they willing or difficult for them to part, with any sizable sum to buy a percentage stake, the acceptance of how you would value the company, the process of coming to, a reasonable sort of amount to a portion for the company's value, he found it to be expensive and difficult. Now, in his mind, the building and the vans and the equipment and all other things has a value. There is a set of financial statements that say, well, the company made this much in gross sales, and these were the expenses, and this is what is left. So there are certain things, but he thought it was quite difficult, and being able to reach out to some of the professionals, not only was it hard in a sense, but it was costly. I only share that because he's saying, when we're looking at maturing our economy and sort of growing it as it is, are we providing avenues for these businesses to be able to have a fair valuation? So when they want to maybe recapitalize and the like. Something to chew on, to think about. 894-9837 or 1-800-534-8255. And Ms. Susan, do we pause and take an early break, you think, Mom? Just to get our guests settled, and when we come back, this is the only good thing about having radio vision. So just going to pause and take a break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Kick back at the Cayman Creperie this Friday with some Bubbles and Blues. Bubbles and Blues. Something different in Georgetown's waterfront. Bubbles and Blues. Sip some bubbly with the serenading sounds of the blues with a mighty fine view. Bubbles and Blues, starting at 5 p.m. Donate and get a complimentary glass of bubbles and enter into the amazing raffle. Bubbles and Blues, a pop-up event in support of NCVO. The Cayman Creperie this Friday, starting at 5 p.m. Bubbles and Blues. Bubbles and Blues.
If you are seeking a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate degree, the Ministry of Education is now accepting applications for the 2019 Overseas Scholarships. Give yourself the education you deserve and apply today. All scholarship applications must be submitted by January 31st, 2019. For more information on scholarships and the application process, kindly visit education.gov.ky. Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us, especially Friday afternoon Talk Today. Welcome to our guest, Miss Katrina Jern. Or should I say Dr. Katrina Jern? Would that be okay?
Yes, thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having us on again. We're here today to share with you and share with your audience an invitation to join us tomorrow at Cayman 2020, a town hall event that's open to the public. Admission is free. It's going to be a fantastic afternoon. So thank you so much for having us on to share about it.
Well, I certainly appreciate it, and I will say this many times, and if people say it's inappropriate, well, I'll happily defend it, or if I need correction, I will. But when we have, can I say young? Because our other guest is Miss Laura Eggershaw as well, Knee Powery. Miss Laura, welcome.
Thank you.
As well.
Thank you. Welcome.
When we have young people like yourselves, right, like us, hi Susan, like us, whose futures are intertwined, whose concerns for our children, our nieces, at some point thinking forward to our aging parents, to our future grandchildren, just the effort, the sacrifice, the service. We work together with a collective vision of making it a healthy, safe, productive, prosperous, secure, stable society. It's good for all of us, right? And when I look at our history, and this is the part that I want to emphasize, that if they take out a turn, and I see the little statue, as prominent as it is, I say it should be 10,000 feet and 50 kilometers square. That statue right in the corner of, right across from the library in town, it's not just there because it's a beautiful thing. It's a statue that should inspire all of us. It reminds us of the women in our society, their contributions, what they've done, what they're doing. So when I see young leaders like yourselves, I'm encouraged to say, hey,
thank you.
At least I know them. It's all about working together, right, Ms. Katrina?
It definitely is, and this is kind of cornerstone of the event tomorrow is collaboration, bringing all of the different community groups and individuals together, bringing our voices together, bringing our voices and minds to reflect on some of the issues that we are facing as a country, but also to proactively put our minds together to come up with solutions to those issues. Today I'm here representing CPR Cayman, the Cruise Port Referendum Cayman, and we've got a number of groups who are collaborating with us on this event, including Save Barkers. So Laura is here today she's as part of both groups, but with her Save Barkers cap on, and a number of other groups are joining us. The Concerned Citizens Group, Saved the Cove. Also, we will have CCMI joining us, the National Trust, amongst other groups. We'll also have the Cayman Islands Tourism Association with us. So it's going to be a really diverse event that will be focusing on a number of the kind of major issues that we are facing today.
Now, this is tomorrow at the South Sound Community Center.
Yes,
right?
our civic
12 to 4 p.m.
Yes.
Is what I'm told?
That's correct.
Okay.
The event will run the town hall aspect will run from 12 to 4 p.m. and it will be immediately followed by a free screening of the documentary Rebirth, which is a phenomenal documentary. It has been screened a few times already, but there's still a lot of people that are wanting to see it. It's a beautiful documentary filmed in Cayman by university students in the U.S. It looks at the sort of challenges that we're facing with the balance between conservation and development, and also touches on the cruise birthing facility issue.
Now, Ms. Laura, from that perspective, when we look at these different entities tomorrow, the National Trust, the Tourism Association, CCMI in particular, three seemingly disparate, separate entities, but also interconnected in that from the research to the notion that the trust has a mandate by legislation. And then you look at the Tourism Association without sort of trying to cry down what they do. It's an industry association whose sort of objective is to look after its members and say, well, how can we leverage, monetize, benefit from this thing? And yet this thing is affecting all of us, irrespective of who we are, where we are, when we are.
Yes, and it was created it's more of a grassroots creation,
right,
which is bringing together all the different groups to showcase the event.
All right. Well, sneaking into the studio with his bright red hat, symbolic of the ruling,
Oh, come on now.
Football team.
Football team.
Whoa. I thought you were a football fan.
No.
Don't you go to school in the UK?
Yeah, but I don't mean I know nothing about football. No, come on.
The Mighty Reds, Liverpool.
Yeah.
All right.
You see, John, Mr. Barnes. I mean, nobody.
No.
You know what? I think we need to take a break. Take Javi outside. No. Javi is joining us. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. And we have this running thing here. He's Javi with the belly. I said, no, he's Javi with the job. Because while he's here, if we don't, get in our... Right, Jeff?
That's right. I'm here.
All right. Well, if you're joining us, I like to smile and laugh, but it doesn't in any which way diminish the importance of what is happening and tomorrow, I think, for the community. As we do this, Ms. Laura, you were sharing that all of these groups, grassroots, are all coming together. For us, the listening public, who are busy in our minds with so many other things, probably time-sensitive, important. But this seems to be one of those that should rank at the very top, or at least coming in for a while and spending some time bringing the family and understanding.
Yes, and tomorrow is a great opportunity for families to come and sign the petition as well. A lot of the volunteers in the CPR have been going around door to door at supermarkets, and tomorrow is a time when people can come out if they haven't signed already. Come on out, bring the family, bring young people who are 18 and older who are voters or register to vote if they're not voters already, to come out tomorrow, regardless of whether they've signed it or not. They can bring their friends and family to do the same thing. And we would really like to see the ministers there as well. Tourism, environment, financial.
Because this is, at the end of the day, about the country. And
yes.
How do we maybe continue, if not, some would say, even start that discussion about balancing development and the other issues, as some would say, environmental. I think they're all economic.
Yes, definitely, and we will be looking at all aspects. I mean, the panels that will be on tomorrow. We've got a coastal heritage panel, in addition to a sustainable tourism panel, and also social and community well-being. And then there will be presentations on the conservation law, on coral reef research. So it is. We are looking at sort of all aspects of the society and the community. And so there's something for everybody, regardless of your particular interest. But all of these issues, of course, are very interwoven. And yeah, we are expecting a very lively program. And whatever time that you have available, even if you can only stop in for part of the time, please come and join us. It will be a great opportunity to get informed about, many of the topics facing us today. And also to meet, connect, collaborate.
Mm-hmm. Want to pause, Miss Susan? And then we can just go straight to the one. Can I do that? Yeah. Sometimes you ask permission, you might get it. You ask forgiveness, you might get it. All right, when we come back, we're going to have a quick discussion. Just another half an hour or 4. I'm not sure. We'll see. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner, think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
It's 2019, and you know what they say, new year, new me?
Yeah, Bobo. For me, it's new year, new car.
For real? What you thinking of buying?
The new RAV4 from Vant Motors. It's one of the safest compact SUVs out there with enough room inside, which is good for my family and convincing my wife we need this. Plus, it's fuel efficient, fun to drive, and on top of that, it's on sale too.
Yeah, and I hear it's one of the best-selling SUVs on the market.
Cause you don't gotta spend more to do more. That's why I'm gonna get mine now, while they have a new stock to select from.
Do more in your RAV4. Save thousands on the all-new 2019 RAV4. Test drive yours today and see why the RAV4 is a best-selling SUV in Cayman. Available only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Whether you're planning your child's next birthday party or simply looking for a social night out, look no further than Kingpin Bowling at King Sports Center.
With a range of packages and specials for bowling parties, socials, and corporate team building, Kingpin Bowling offers what no one else can. The only bowling alley in Cayman. And it's indoor fun, which means no mosquitoes, AC, and don't forget about their bowling bar. Book your bowling lanes today. Call 946-BOWL. That's 946-2495. Email kingpinbowling@candw.ky. For more information, visit their website, www.kingsportscenter.com.
King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
RC Fusion, featuring Billboard pop hit songs and more from the 70s to the 90s.
RC Fusion.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. till 12. RC Fusion.
Brought to you by Country and Western. No mess, no fuss, just the best in Caymanian cuisine at a price you can afford.
Country and Western, now offering delivery. Call 945-4079.
RC Fusion. RC Fusion.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. And again, a special hello to a good friend, Jevi.
Hey,
brother, good to see you, man.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, what's that song, brother? Can you spare a dime?
Hey, I can't. I'm a university student. I can spare a thought.
All right, but that's even more. That's even better, man. And Miss Katrina adjourned together. Miss Laura English joins us in an invitation for the general public, all on Sunday, like between 12 and 4 p.m. tomorrow. Certainly to watch the screening at 4 of Rebirth at the South Sound Community Center. All the many groups coming together to talk to us. Help us to understand, for those who are not sure, what is, because it's only 4 hours initially, and that's a lot to cover in a very short time. So what is the format?
So the format of the town hall meeting tomorrow, Cayman 2020 at the South Sound Community Center, we will have a number of presentations and panel discussions. So the presentations there'll be a presentation from CCMI, also from Christine Rose Smith, who is a former NCC chairman. She'll be doing a presentation on the conservation law, which should be very interesting. There will also be 3 panels, one on coastal heritage, the other on sustainable tourism and development, and the third on social and community well-being. So the presentations and panels will be running from 12 to 4. All the participating groups will also have tables with information, so that it's a very interactive event also. And for all of the panels and presentations, there'll be question and answer sessions, so it should be very interactive. We definitely want the input of all who attend. We have some great presenters who are joining us, and all of the community groups that have come together. And then immediately following the town hall, we will be screening Rebirth, which is a fantastic documentary filmed in Cayman in early 2018 by university students, one of which lived in Cayman for a while. But it's beautifully filmed documentary, very touching, beautiful cinematography. It looks overall at the sort of tug of war in Cayman between development and conservation, and looks at the issue of the cruise berthing facility. There will be refreshments. It is again free, and we are encouraging everyone to attend. If you can't make it for the whole time, please just stop by for as much time as you can. I know people are very busy on their Saturday afternoons, but please just encouraging everyone to come out. It's going to be a very lively afternoon.
Now, are the panel discussions sort of like plenaries? Are they going to run consecutive, so that this one and this one, or are they concurrent? How does that work?
There's an agenda, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes, there's an agenda, and it is quite a tight program.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine.
But all the presentations will be quite short, and everybody who's on the panel. I mean, we've got a lot of ground to cover, and again, this is like an opportunity for all of the groups and individuals to come together. Usually, there's a lot of different issues that are happening in the community, different community groups, but we thought it was very important for everybody to come together, to put our minds together, to consider the issues that are before us, and also to come up and collaborate on solutions going forward. We've invited all of the government MLAs to join us, and we're really hoping that this will be the start of greater collaboration within the community, of greater community participation in decision making about the future of the island. There's a lot of major decisions before the country, the cruise berthing facility, the future of barkers. Also, we've got Plan Cayman, the update to the development plan, which is ongoing. Which we are also quite concerned about, and some major changes that are proposed within that. The deadline for public input on that through a survey that the planning department are facilitating is, I believe, next week. So that's something that we'll also be highlighting, although unfortunately doesn't seem that planning will be joining us, but it is an issue that we will be discussing, and also really encouraging the public to take a look at that Plan Cayman survey that's on the planning website.
Okay. We talk about Cayman 2020, sort of visualizing our future. If for some who maybe listening will say, well, I'm not really an environmentalist, or I'm not opposed to development or opposed to whatever the port Barkers, the extension of planning regulations allowing 100-story buildings, whatever. For those people that may have that mindset, or who may be of the perspective that because I'm not in this camp, then I don't need to attend. If there are those who labor with that mindset.
Well, these people live here as well. They're affected by everything that happens, regardless. Their decision matters, regardless what that decision is. It matters. So they need to think about what they would like, have some sort of insight, what they would like to see in the next, not just next year in 2020, but what the future would be like. Do they want to have bumper-to-bumper cars going to work, hour and a half every morning with cruise ship passengers and buses everywhere? They just have to envision what they would like their future to be, and then come and put some input into that tomorrow.
Okay, Jeff?
I was listening to the conversation. Very, very interesting, and I think everybody needs to get in on the conversation about our future. You mentioned something about the Plan Cayman website. You're saying that there's an issue that you were concerned with. I'm not aware of that issue. I was wondering if you could just tell me a little bit about that, because I'm assuming that there may be others like me who are hearing you say this on the radio for the first time. Well, hold on, wait, what is she talking about now?
Interesting, yeah.
Yes, there is the Planning Department are updating, as required by law, updating the development plan, and they currently are seeking input from the public on proposed updates to the development plan. They have information on a website, and there's a survey that is available there, which they're seeking public input through. I believe they did a presentation to the Chamber of Commerce about 2 months ago. I don't know of any other presentations, and unlike in the past where they did a whole series of town hall meetings in all the districts, so far we haven't heard if that's going to happen, but the deadline for the survey is I believe the end of next week. So that is something that that the public should be aware about. This is a major issue, the updating of the development plan, and it does propose some or consider some major changes, including one that was in the paper this week, that the Coastal Works license decisions would move from being a decision of Cabinet to being a decision of the Central Planning Authority. And I think that is definitely a major concern, and I don't...
Why is that? I'm not. I really. This is all interesting to me, and I'm like, I'm hearing this for the first time. I was wondering if you could tell me more about that.
Yes, well, I believe that in my experience with a number of development applications in the past, there have been some major development applications which have been approved by the Central Planning Authority, but later when the Coastal Works license that was related to that went to Cabinet took on board the views of the public more so than the CPA. I think that there is sort of more of an opportunity for the public to weigh in and for their input to be considered when it's a decision of Cabinet versus the Central Planning Authority, although the Central Planning Authority is supposed to take into consideration the input of public objectors.
But it's interesting, Jeff. I mean, I appreciate you raising that, because we were sort of anticipating a public campaign by the planning department. I think that was even brought to some point that they would go around. Now, the survey is just one portion of the response, but it can inform. Now, with the planning, regulations and amendments over the time where the neighbours, as it were, could object, that has become, to some, so small that potential objectors, as it was in the past, relative to Coastal Works applications, that all of us, irrespective if we are adjoining property owners or even live in that neighbourhood or that district,
you can get your voice in.
Yeah. But the question, though...
And you would think something so important that planning would have had more district meetings, the way we're doing with the CPR and the Safe Archives, have more town hall meetings, had it out to the public, not just a survey, because a lot of people, older people particularly, don't go on the computer, they don't see surveys, or some of us just missed them, like you said, you didn't even know. It should have been out in the public for a whole year, a year in advance, saying, this is what we're thinking about doing, give us your input. It's too important to just simply slip under for one survey.
I have a couple of calls online in the studio. Javi's going to make sure that we keep it in order. I mean, he's a trained professional. Miss Laura, Dr. Katrina. Let's go to our phones. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon to you. Just fine, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The esteemed ladies there, and the gentleman is that I believe I've heard that voice before, who is with you.
Yes, sir.
On the radio. I'd like to get it straight just what this committee is really. In the Constitution, it does say that there shall be district councils which will be giving advice to the members of the Legislative Assembly, and ultimately, of course, the government, because they're members also, but the government is the ruling part of the Assembly. I just wondered, is this sort of a de facto council for the whole island then? And are you taking on different respective issues or the development plan, so to speak, because I'll just give you a scenario. They've got to understand that when we first thought about developing and moving away from our seafaring days, early 60s and into the late 60s, and moved towards this, the tourism was there already. We saw it would blossom and so forth, but we moved into the financial world, which we know is a different thing then. And then at that time, our population was quadrupled. So there's a major difference between what was foreseen then, or what was thought, or what could be a relevant plan to now. It would be almost irrelevant to what we know now. No one would know that what would have happened in 50 years. And we can see us moving forward, but it's a very difficult situation with a quadruple population. We have no country to compare ourselves to at all in that period of time. Nothing, no one.
Yes, sir.
I hear you talking about, what is it, the CCR? Is that a...
CPR.
Or CPR.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cruise Port Referendum.
Citizens...
No.
So CFR then.
Yeah, the cruise port referendum.
Yeah.
Oh, the cruise port referendum
Yeah.
for whether, so that will be there. What about because obviously that's the people who are against building they brought a referendum against building the pier.
No, sir, not necessarily, is it?
Sir, just to clarify on the event, to answer your question, so the event is organized by the group CPR, Cayman Cruise Port Referendum Cayman. We are for a referendum on the cruise berthing issue. We haven't taken a position for or against it, but it's a collaborative effort with a number of community groups: Save Barkers, Save the Cove, CCMI, the National Trust, the Concerned Citizens Group, amongst a few other groups. And we're community groups coming together, along with inviting the whole community. It's a town hall meeting. It is an opportunity for us all to come together and share our concerns, to come up with solutions. The district councils that you mentioned, from my understanding, they have that part of the Constitution has not been brought into force, and we're still waiting for those committees to be formed. And certainly that is a concern also. We would really like to see those councils into effect. If they were, then perhaps we wouldn't need to be coming together as we are now. But it's also in response to a feeling that there is a lack of this type of collaboration happening within the community, and a lack of input to the government, or the government not taking on board the input of community groups of citizens. And so this is an effort to simply come together as a community and bring our thoughts and concerns together.
If I can try and get in a word edgewise, that's why I said, is this a de facto thing? But that's gone now since you were telling something about it. District council for the whole island then. The cruise pier referendum or port, because we have a port in Georgetown right now. Georgetown is a port. It's always been a port, not a harbor really. But that's the debate. That is a different thing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right.
The pier. What I'm trying to get across is this: are you having anyone there on that panel of who you're saying is speaking that is for supporting building the pier? Will there be anyone there on that panel and discussing, like people who have expertise in dredging and engineering, and also, since you're going to discuss that, it seems, also in mind those people who had the experience when we were doing a lot of dredging here in the 70s, the 80s, 90s.
But maybe some of that might have been to our detriment.
No, I'm asking you a question. Will there be people from that era who remembered that, and we didn't have much protestation against that protest, we now see the results of it. Many big things have happened. The Safe Haven, the Governor's Sound, the Governor's Harbour, and other places. There's a lot of dredging there. A lot of Caymanians working on those dredges and so forth. But will you be having anyone without who will be there, who is speaking for support for the piers? Or is it just a sort of acceptable thing that this will be mostly facing the sort of opposition to the piers being built?
All right, well, let's ask to that point. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So the event will be focusing on a number of issues. The cruise berthing facility is just one of those issues. As I said before, the topics of the panels are one, coastal heritage. The second panel is on sustainable tourism and development, and the third is on community well-being. So we did invite a number of government agencies. Unfortunately, none of them were able to participate, and we've also invited all MLAs to attend. And so we don't have anybody on the panels that are particularly pro-pier, but it's that there's not a panel that's specifically about the cruise berthing facility. It would be covered under other topics, but the participants on the panel come from Save Barkers, from the CPR group, from the National Trust, from Save the Cove, the Concerned Citizens group. And there are a few others that I'm not mentioning right now, but yes, so we'll be covering those topics where we imagine a number of issues will be brought up by the panel members, and then we're also having a presentation on the conservation law and on coral reef research.
Indeed. And thanks, our call again for sharing. We can probably, Javi, you and I can get us out maybe a little bit later, but
yeah, definitely.
There's another caller.
Yeah, let's go to the caller.
Hey, welcome, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And all your guests.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Oh, pretty good, thank you. And DB.
How are you?
You know, I'm not environmentalist or scuba diver or anything, but I have an idea that it's so simple that maybe something wrong with it. Now, just like to put it out there, since you have all of these different groups together, maybe we could discuss it, because I believe in alternatives. And we have the Red Bay area there. If we put, not dredging, first excavate past, let's say about 200 feet inside the reef, a few hundred yards, or maybe 100, 200 feet from the reef, you know, inside of the South Sound, mostly grass, sort of grass. Now, anywhere we go with this boat, we're going to lose some coral and whatnot. Now, if we cut a channel up by the Red Bay area, the ships can come in there and go out on the south end near the South Sound Quay, or vice versa, come in South Sound Quay and go out the other side. We will have space for 3 or 4 ships to come in. They will be protected not only by the reef, but the wall to be built, and all of the fill from dredging could use to fill in the land area, which will give us a huge area for building shops or buses to park and the rest of it. Right?
Yeah.
Also now, hello?
Yes, sir. I was asking maybe we could continue that particular topic after.
Yeah, that is a hot topic right there, and I would love to comment on that.
Let's do that.
You know,
but in the meantime, thank you, sir, because that's something else. But so that we don't get off track, whether it's by design or otherwise, tomorrow's, as I understand it, is a community meeting. Whether you are decided for or against, you're undecided, you just want to understand. That's what tomorrow's meeting is about.
Exactly, and we welcome people with the whole community. We're all coming together. We want all ideas to come to the table, and whether you're for or against any of these topics, we think this is the time for everybody to share their ideas.
Where is this happening again?
It's at the South Sound Community Centre.
Right. And 12 to 4, right?
12 to 4, yes.
I want to clarify something. I've asked this not because I've forgotten, but just for emphasis. If you were to sign the People's initiated a petition for the People's Referendum, what does that mean? Does that mean you're for the port, against the port, or just simply that you want to have a say on a national ballot as to whichever?
And to answer that gentleman, well, to sort of answer the gentleman that was there earlier, a lot of people, or some people that have signed signing the petition for the referendum are for a port. They want a port, but some of them have said not the particular proposal that's going forward. That's a bit extreme. Well, it's very extreme. But maybe there could be another look at how to do this port, to do it more environmentally. Maybe just single long piers at each end rather than that huge, the huge expansion that they're proposing. So, yeah, if people want to come out tomorrow and give suggestions, I'm sure there'll be a suggestion box.
Definitely, we'll be seeking input in a number of different ways. There's question and answer session and the opportunity for everybody to contribute to the discussion.
And to the gentleman prior to the last caller, the perspective that this is about information, and maybe Jeff, you and I can pick it up. Only because I'll be here after Monday, you'll be on a flight.
Yes, that's
so
right. I can take all the risk now, right? Risk is outbound.
You can't. But
you are coming back then.
Point taken.
Hey! I was going to limit a false sense. But if the elected government, the appointed government, and you fill in the blank, isn't doing, then it isn't for the citizens to do, because I think Ms. Laurie, you shared, we're all affected by whatever happens,
right.
I was almost 20 minutes in traffic. Now, the gentleman was very, very, very apologetic and polite, but he was doing something that blocked the road. I could see he was doing something. I had two choices, either wait there or wait there. I couldn't move. Now, it didn't mean for him to take as long as he did, but thankfully he was saying, I'm so sorry, this was what happened. If you don't become aware and get involved, it affects us, right? So tomorrow gives us a chance to at least have an insight.
Yeah, and this increase in say that if the mega ships come and there's an increase in population of tourists, that's a huge population increase almost overnight for Cayman, right? We've gone from not too long ago being 50,000, now 60,000, and you could have 2 million 1 year of cruise ship passengers. That's a huge impact on an island that is very narrow, only 2 roads in some places, and too many vehicles at the moment anyway. That's not being capped. The vehicles need to be capped. This is something that needs a lot of thought before this proposal of cruise port should go through.
Well, I'm looking forward to continue dialogue from the citizens as to where we are. I do recognize that, like many of us, I'm at work. You guys have to get back to work. Yeah. Any closing thoughts, Ms. Cucino?
Yes, so just again a reminder, the South Sound Community Centre tomorrow from 12 to 4 p.m. Cayman 2020, Visualizing Our Future. I think this type of town hall event should be happening in any healthy democracy where we have the community involvement. And so it may have been lacking in recent years, but we're really trying to change the trend on that by bringing everybody together, bringing everybody to the table. And we hope to see greater collaboration in the future, and also the government reaching out to citizens and community groups for their input on these major decisions that we're making. So please join us. Just a quick rundown again of some of the participants and speakers. We'll have Michael Miles, who will be on the Social and Community Wellbeing panel. We've got CCMI presenting on their coral reef research. The National Trust will be on the Coastal Heritage panel, along with the Concerned Citizens Group, Saved the Cove, Save Barkers, CPR Cayman. We've got Polly Pickering from East Shore, who will be on our Sustainable Tourism panel, and we will also have CETA with us, who will be delivering a statement also as part of the panel. And then again, Rebirth will be screened at 4 p.m. It's free, open to the public, and we're really encouraging everybody to come in, get involved, have your say, be a part of this important process for the community.
Ms. Laura?
And just to emphasize as well, this isn't a us and them thing. This isn't environmentalists against, economy or finance. This is everyone together trying to think about a sustainable Cayman. We all live here. We're all for tourism and hospitality. We all know how important it is. So we're all in the same boat here, but we need to think this through carefully. And this is one of the reasons why tomorrow is so important to come out to.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. Jeff, we got a lot to talk about, man.
A whole lot.
All right. Well, you want to hear us give our opinions? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Office of Education Standard Director Peter Carpenter tells Radio Cayman the team has completed inspections at several early years centres, including Just for Kids, St. George's Preschool and Little Trotters, along with Spot Bay Primary in Cayman Brac. The OES has 18 inspections planned between January and May this year, with reports being issued following the completion of each review. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, Australia has just sweltered through at least 5 of its 10 warmest days on record, authorities estimate. An extreme heat wave has afflicted the nation since Saturday, causing wildlife deaths, bushfires, and an increase in hospital admissions. Australia's Bureau of Meteorology said preliminary readings showed daily national temperature highs of 40 Celsius. A mother who turned to IVF after years of trying to vein for a baby said she was shocked to find out she was expecting triplets, 2 of whom had been conceived naturally. Betty Bienes and her husband Powell had been trying to have children for 7 years. When the couple eventually turned to IVF, they ended up conceiving 1 child through the NHS treatment and 2 more naturally as part of the same pregnancy. And Zimbabwe has shut down the internet indefinitely amid an intensifying crackdown on protests against a hike in fuel prices. The country's largest mobile operator, Econet, says it has been operated to cut services until further notice. Access to Facebook, WhatsApp, and Twitter has been intermittently blocked since protests broke out on Monday. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
It's the CMEA's 11th Annual Music Festival Weekend, coming January 25th to 28th, Heroes Day Weekend. 5 events over 4 days. Friday the 25th, catch the DJ Showcase.
Cayman Cabana, Soul Karama, Carib Cafe, Reggae Revolution, Silverside's Dance Party.
Saturday the 26th, see the Young Musicians Showcase at 1 p.m. at the Hawkwill Theatre, followed by the Hero Salute at 7 p.m. at the Havana Club. Sunday the 27th, don't miss the Music Awards ceremony at the Hawkwill Theatre. And on Monday, Heroes Day, the live music showcase will merge with the Heroes Day ceremony in Georgetown for an evening of live local music. For more detailed information or tickets for the 11th Annual Music Festival, call 928-7665 or visit the Cayman Music and Entertainment Association on Facebook. Music Festival Weekend, 4 days, 5 events. Don't miss the celebration of Cayman's top musical talent.
540 months.
16,425 days.
394,200 hours.
45 years. That's how long we've been committed to serving you, and we won't stop there. Over the years, we have proudly grown with Cayman, making a difference in the community. That's why we're here, to stand by you.
We are Cayman National.
And we thank you for standing by us for 45 years and counting.
Cayman Keswick 2019 will continue every evening until Friday, January 18th at the Cayman Islands Baptist Church in Savannah. The speaker this year is Stephen Jennings from Kingston, Jamaica. Lunchtime sessions are at the Family Life Center on Walkers Road each day from 12 until 12:50 p.m. You can join Radio Cayman each evening at 7 p.m. for a live broadcast from Cayman Keswick 2019. For more information, please visit www.caymankeswick.com. That's Cayman, KESWICK.com.
Cayman's cruise tourism is not at risk.
Not at risk.
Not at risk.
If we do not build the piers.
This is according to the Vice President of Carnival Cruise Lines.
The vast majority of cruise ships will continue to be smaller ships that will tender for the foreseeable future.
Of the 22 ships on order by Carnival Cruise Lines, only three
are mega class ships
destined for the Caribbean.
It is also a fact that the fourth largest mega ship in the world,
the MSC Margavalia,
will call on Cayman from October 2019 by tender.
By tender.
Cayman's thriving cruise sector has grown steadily by 14%.
We will not lose any current revenue without the piers.
But we may jeopardize our stay-over tourism,
which generates 76% of our tourism revenue.
Is a cruise pier really needed?
There are currently too many unanswered questions.
Our government must get this right.
For us now and future generations.
Make an informed decision. It's your constitutional right.
It is your constitutional right. Sign the petition, support the referendum, and let's build our future together.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. And in the studio, enjoying the wonderful company, not just of his presence in the person, but also because of his insight, intellect, and the fact, Chevy, really, and I'll ask you from two perspectives.
Sure.
One, as a smart, honorable, decent, law-abiding.
Honorable is a stretch, but thank you very much.
Well, everybody's honorable these days, right? So we'll put it like that. But also, as someone who's more than likely, unless our society continues to do a lot of foolishness and cause so many of us to leave, more than likely this is going to be your land where your bread and butter,
right?
Your land where, God's willing, your children and extended families, and
right.
This is going to be where
home.
We all live.
That's right.
Home, right? And as we get into a discussion, special thanks going to Laura and to Katrina for joining us. The point that they made, the meeting, the discussion, the town hall meeting, whatever you call it, tomorrow at South Sound Community Center is for the country. Maybe you have made up your mind one way or the other. Maybe you haven't quite sure exactly what is the issue.
Right.
Come out and get information. Right.
I agree. If you, I'm in that position where I feel unsure. And I think if you're in that position, you should definitely go out and try to get more information. I think that's what's missing most from us as a society. You look at some other societies, when they want information, they're going for it.
Yeah.
Nothing going to stop them from going for it. And I think we need to get that back.
I want to ask a couple of things.
Sure.
And I had a rather interesting week, and the morning was no exception. On one hand, there are these individuals who I believe are well informed, otherwise are able to share a perspective, even if they had to be assembled and be at a podium in a stadium with tens of thousands. They could handle their own. But for some reason, there is this reluctance because of pettiness, because of a perception that they may suffer one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you benefit from those people who genuinely share with you, knowing that, or expecting that you relate somehow publicly, but knowing that, it won't disclose the source, as it were, right?
Right.
So that's good. But the caller prior shared some things that I think opens up an opportunity for some discussion. If you're mindful, maybe start with a couple of things. The notion, I think the question was asked, well, you're as a group, almost seemingly in absence of district councils, where do you fit in? And, as a group then is the perception that you're anti-port or pro-port or what have you. Now, if our politicians that we've elected, if our policymakers that we have appointed, if the wider community, the puppet masters, some would call them, if there's been a failure or reluctance or to date, the unwillingness, inability or the non-passage of implementing district councils, then isn't it now for the public to say, well, let's fill in that void as and when we can in some capacity? The grassroots movements, as they were?
Yeah, it has a place. Personally, is a name very important. To me, when the topic of district council come up, that's kind of the first question that comes to my mind. To me, it doesn't matter if the government is doing the district council or if some private citizens are doing the district council. If you don't want to call it district council, if you want to call it group meeting, okay, that's fine. Yeah. As long as it's getting done. To me, that's the important part of it there. So I don't have a problem, a group that have a concern and, they're going to these lengths to show their concern and to raise awareness. I think it's A-okay. I don't think that we should be trying to categorize them as this or that. But I do think that behaviors towards these groups dictate how we view it. For example, they mentioned that they invited MLAs out. They invited the different ministries to come out, to share their point. She said, no one would be able to come. If you're trying to have this conversation and you're inviting people from the other side and the other side doesn't show up, then the optics will appear that it is a us versus them. And I don't think that's the case here. And if the powers that be are knowingly doing that to make the optics appear us versus them, then I think, one, that is kind of sneaky. But I guess if it works in their favor, who am I to stop, someone from defending their side of the table? You know what I mean?
When we look at the notion of a district councils, and yes, the Constitution has, I think, 5 words, there shall be district councils, what have you. That's it. There's no other meat and the like. Yeah. Now, we've been sort of accused as a society of no sense of, unity. And now you have in tomorrow, under one roof, different entities. There is the Tourism Association, which is a private sector group looking after the tourism sector, making a presentation, a statement, being present. Whatever they say, however they do, that's their thing. You have the research arm through the CCMI. You have the National Trust. Now you may, as a people, decide, well, more than likely, this is that view of this group. Fair enough. But if they're all together, but the ones that stand out though is that the concerned citizens were mentioned, CPR, Save Barca, Save the Cove. These different, don't want to say factions, these are different groupings of individuals who have organized themselves for a particular effort, and now seemingly prepared to say, well, our common objective is a healthy, sustainable economy and environment. If they're working together, those small steps could be the beginning of something, meaningful that would help them influence the agenda, help politicians to understand the pulse more easily. Now, district councils could go far beyond that and look at other issues, but in the absence of it, I should have to ask the question. A number of people, when the Constitution was talked about, was saying that you have, for whatever they call, let's just use the same phrase, a district council in the different districts. At that time, there wasn't this notion that there would be the 19, it was only 18 at that point, but now the 19 different constituencies. So in that sense, you could have 19 district councils. But one comment that I'd heard a number of times was, well, if you ended up with district councils, do you have a national district councils from which representatives from the individual districts would sort of come together? Now, is that more bureaucracy? Is that a greater sense of empowerment?
That's exactly why I gave you that look. Because every time, and I'm not saying I against district council, I really don't know, let me be clear, I really don't know much about the idea of district councils. I've heard it, in conversations in the past, but it's not something that I delved into in depth. But every time, you create something, you have to create something for it to report to. So I'm very cautious of should we just keep creating these entities? We voted for the MLAs to represent us. That's their job. I feel that by creating more and more entities. You know, you're gonna have district council, then national district council, then subgroup and stuff. I don't business with all of that. I just want to get straight to the point.
Maybe we sort of increasing the number of elected people, we will reduce it. I mean, let's have 5 or 7 or 3. I don't know. You know, less is more, right?
I don't know. Kind of difficult to get through to them now, and they have small constituencies. You sure you want to make their constituencies bigger?
I want to pick up on a couple of things, a couple of WhatsApps I want to share. Well, let's go to the phones.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir. Good to hear from you.
Thank you. It's quite an interesting topic here on today. District councils. Anyone that has any experience or information about district council. District council, number one, it's non-political interference. It's directed by the people for the people. Meaning that any politician that dips his fingers into this thing about the district council, that is not supposed to be. For the want of a better word, I would say it's illegal. Illegal. Okay? It's not legal. It's by the people for the people. You have oversight committees. That's what it's for. So when the government that takes the attitude that is their way or the highway, that's what district councils are for, which should have been around on this island like yesterday. If we had a good district council with a little bit of teeth in it, all of this wishy-washy and all of the closing of the West Bay Road and all of the tunnels and things that is going on, I think you might have seen a different situation. Okay? Now, what we have, in my opinion, again, is some of the best politicians that money can buy. Okay? I am so disheartened with what I see happening in this island. You know, take, for example, again, the Barcus area where they want to dredge out these 2 football field areas to put this thing in.
The 4 acres you're talking about? Yeah.
Okay?
All
right. People like Lip Gressman Ebanks and Alan Ebanks probably spent half of the years in jail northward if they took a lobster this season or a conch, watching them with binoculars and see what they was doing. But the Prince of Privilege come here and just call the shots, while our politicians says absolutely nothing. Okay? Nothing to say to defend the people of the area of Barcus. That's just one of the many things that we see. You know, I am so disgusted with these people that call themselves politicians and representatives. I mean, I just don't want to get any more involved into even a conversation because I am so ashamed, disappointed, embarrassed with what I see going on in our island, right? Where is the politicians? Where is the leaders? Where is the people that have been elected for the district? Has nothing to say? And then we think that, when election comes, we must fight over who should get in. My friend, though, I can say this, the handwriting is on the wall, and I have reason to believe, Orman is telling this in case they want to know my name, next election, I think it'll be quite interesting to see what happens. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So that's my little piece. I don't want to take up any more time because I'm busy myself, so I just want to inject that little piece, and
all right.
I don't even have time to even wait for your response, but thank you anyway for listening to me.
We'll pick it up. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. And Javid, to that caller's point, and then, you know, this whole issue that you thankfully share with us publicly, because, as you said, if you're just hearing about it now, maybe there are others who are likewise, may have heard about it, may not necessarily have paid attention to it, may not have been fully cognizant. The planning review, as it were. Okay, it's great to be able to get feedback from the public, but online surveys, how many of us would take time, how many of us would actually be aware, how many of us would have your withal, perhaps we would prefer, and may be of the notion that it should be an expectation. You have these public consultations, public meetings. Now, from the planning perspective and any amendments to the development planning regulations, whether it's about rezoning certain areas, whether it's about should the powers of certain things, for instance, the coastal works licenses, as we understand, now go before the cabinet, the duly political elected body, and they decide whether this application, other applications relative to planning, goes to the Central Planning Authority or somewhere within the planning department, depending on what it is. There's a process where it's administratively approved or through the CPA. The public can comment, we gather, on any coastal works application because it's in the public purview if it's a planning application, and it's only affecting those who are required by law to be notified. Now, someone shared that sort of notification area is maybe a little bit too restrictive. Others thought, well, maybe it's still even too vast. But how is it that if we, well, your thoughts? I mean, should we have more public participation and publication of things, or should it be, you know what, if you don't know, too bad?
No, I don't think. I think that's a difficult question to answer. I believe you should have more public input. But if I think how it is now is for coastal applications, you have to make application. You have to advise persons in your surroundings, right? If you take that situation and you, like, say I live in Bodden Town and I want to do a piece of addition or something, or I want to put something on a piece of land that I own that may affect the land around me, I obviously also need to contact the persons in my general area. How far, is this gonna go? Like I get it. The public should be concerned. It is our beach. But if you have to advise people in East End about something that's happening on a piece of land in West Bay, can people take that too far? Okay. Is that opening Pandora's box? And now if I want to do something on a piece of land in Bodden Town that
should it be then, from what you're sharing, and should it be then depending on what that thing is?
Yeah.
If you own, let's use beach, if you own a beach, and you want to put a hotel or a guest house or you own private residence, for instance, and the type of development you put in isn't going to, and again, lawyers will probably argue over the inference and interpretation of the words, but materially impact the coastline. Should that be okay if you're going to excavate the seabed, put out a dock of some sort, or do something else? Would that not only affect the adjoining coastline but other places? At what point is this thing necessary?
Everything has restrictions, right? So you have to maintain your car. You have to get regular checkups. You have to ensure that your license tag is there, because that is what they say will keep you more cautious and more safe on the road. So your safety is there also for others. Right. If it's the same thing, I believe, with land. If you're doing something and it's your private property, it's your private property. But if you're doing something on your private property that affects the general public, the general public needs to have an input. Remember now, the people buying the land, they're not buying the ocean with it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Props to Tidy. There, two individuals over the last few months, even prior to November, so to speak, had brought to my attention an application for rezoning of a property on the Linford Pearson highway, the bypass. And one said, well, is this the same property that's been asked to rezone so that we can get more development on it, that there's no advertising to pre-sell apartments and the like? And the person was saying, well, if you don't have planning permission, like we've seen with some properties along, the South Beach area, how can you advertise for sale? Should you have to have planning permission and all of the things in order first? If you don't have the zoning for something, how can you do this? And is it that there's an expectation you look at it? Is this that a way to tie the hand and say, look, see what we can do here, so you should give it to us? I mean, should it be, as the Honourable Opposition Leader has shared a number of times, why are we rezoning one particular parcel or a grouping of parcels that may affect that particular investor and not the area? So he gives an example in some parts out east where one property is rezoned from residential to, say, commercial or hotel or whatever, and all of a sudden that increases the valuable usage of that land. But then the surrounding lands are still zoned farming or residential or what have you. The only difference is that one is, parcel. So how does that? I mean,
I don't know much, and I think that's something sometimes our elected officials are scared to say. I don't know.
Okay.
And I think that persons who are familiar with this piece of legislation or this topic, I think they should call in and share their opinions.
All right. So I reached out to a couple of guys who some are in that sector, the lawyers,
right,
the would-be developers and planners, and the different people who has people who have some insight into the area. And a few of them shared, listen, let me use a phrase that I've heard growing up, kisses go by favors. For those who know what I mean. And that's what it comes down to, that you can influence something because of who you are. You're affected negatively because of who you are, as opposed to this very clear-cut, reason, rational approach. You want to build your house. Well, the process is you make an application. These are the things that you need to provide. It isn't these things plus this because today you wore, an ugly shirt, or you didn't put socks on with your shoes,
or you said hi to the right person,
or said hi. And sometimes it feels that it is that arbitrary and that, as one guy said, idiotic at times.
It is like that. I mean, there's a lot of things that we experience every day in society that we know, that we hear, or I shouldn't say we know, we hear, persons are being treated differently because of who they are. Certain positions get certain amount of leverage with them. I don't think it should be like that. I think, fair is fair. Everybody has to go through the same process, the same wait time, because I believe if everybody is experiencing something and everybody is also experiencing a problem, it's the entire group's prerogative to make that change.
All right. We have Javier keeping our company, and it's all about not only repeating and sharing some of the things that you share with us privately, but maybe encouraging, hopefully inspiring some dialogue and commentary from you. It's a weekend. What better way to, when you're sitting tonight at your favorite bar stool, or you're nursing tomorrow, that particular feeling.
Favorite bar stool.
949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Let's pause and take a break. When we come back, can I ask about the callers' comment about Red Bay and the port and the alternative?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get Jerry's point on that.
Great.
Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know that the Department of Environmental Health operates a recycling program in the Cayman Islands? Recyclables such as number 1 and 2 plastics, tin and aluminum cans, cardboard, as well as glass and ceramic items are recycled on Grand Cayman by the DH. Take these items to the recycling depots located at all Foster's supermarkets, Kirk Market, and Hurley's Grand Harbor. Remember, keep the Cayman Islands clean, reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, please visit DH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, Cayman's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with Cayman's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
This Health Flash is brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Over 65 million people around the world have moderate or severe COPD, a family of diseases that includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Cleveland Clinic, Florida offers a wide range of management and treatment options for COPD, including programs focused on education, medication, smoking cessation, and pulmonary rehabilitation. A team of experts is ready to review your symptoms and test results to develop a comprehensive treatment plan. For more information, visit clevelandclinicflorida.org.
If you are seeking a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate degree, the Ministry of Education is now accepting applications for the 2019 Overseas Scholarships. Give yourself the education you deserve and apply today. All scholarship applications must be submitted by January 31st, 2019. For more information on scholarships and the application process, kindly visit education.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today, 949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. I have the good company of Jevi, and we're going to be talking about a number of things. Now, Jev, I must confess, I was out and about a little bit earlier than I anticipated. After all breakfast, I still felt this, calling for some warm chocolate chip cookies. So I ran down to Lawrence, picked up a couple of giant-sized ones.
Oh, nice!
And I had them.
Do you have any more?
Well,
it's very selfish of you, Sterling.
I had actually anticipated
exactly what
sharing
I
one with you, but in my zeal to finish that, I had them all. I
Disappointing.
So
You're the most disappointing part of the government right now, Sterling.
So right now, I'm not only energized, but the chocolate has provided fuel for the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get engaged. I can't blame it on the rain. I can't blame it on the drink, but maybe the chocolate will be responsible. Red Bay, the Newport, as the caller before shared. Your view, Jeff?
No. Just no. Here's why. I live in Bodden Town, and when they bring them cruise ships up to Prospect to dock when the weather bad, the traffic miserably bad. The traffic already in Bodden Town is pretty bad. We got one road in and out into the eastern districts up until you get to Prospect. Sorry, Newlands. Sorry, when you got a new highway, right?
Right.
We already have so much traffic. I don't want that cruise ship anywhere near my home in the morning when I try and get to work or I try and go to university or whatever the case. Nowhere near. It's not even debatable for me.
Yeah.
Because that is. Listen, some days we have all 6 cruise ships in not a chance.
Well, for those of you who are listening, Jevis says, as Miss Nancy Reagan would say, just say no. So he's no. What do you think? The caller before said as an alternative. And now we know that some of the sea captains in the past had said we should look at the Red Bay area because, from what we understand, even some of our parliamentarians of the day and some of our business leaders had said that would have been the area to use because it provide a safe harbour and the like. And now, just to engender some discussion, not controversy, let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Mr. Sterling, good afternoon again.
Yes, sir. Welcome back again.
Seemed like I got cut off there short before finishing.
No, you probably didn't get cut off, so we apologize. We probably just ended it.
No, it had to do.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. But you're here now.
There's a few points I wanted with, but that's South thing.
Right, Red Bay area. Right.
For one, there's 2 roads going into town, Walker's Road and Schoolers Road, and Southtown Road. And also, you can go across the Linford Pearson Highway, and you can go up across the Esther Tibbetts Highway, which alleviate a lot of traffic in the center of town.
Disagree.
Right?
And
the Enterprise City is going up nearby as well. So it would be a lot less problems with traffic if it was put up at Red Bay. Also, if they dredge out a place and fill in the inner part of Red Bay or South Sound, on the south side there's a lot of sand in the water there. And if they left an area a few hundred feet from the shore and pumped sand in there, it would make a natural beach, which would satisfy a lot of the people with condos and all that there. Give the tourists a place they could come and just go in the water. Or if they want to go on the other side, in the South Sound Reef, it's a good place to snorkel. And I don't side your friend is saying about the traffic. This would alleviate some of the traffic because no one in town and there.
I agree. I genuinely agree that you believe that it will eliminate traffic. But if I may just ask you, eliminate traffic for who? For where? Because this may eliminate some traffic for people in Georgetown, but for people in Bodden Town, North Side and East End, you think we have road rage? No. You just give it a minute. Because it's going to make it more traffic fast. Even if you say, okay, well, you have 3 roads. You can go on Southtown, you can go on the Linford Pearson Highway, or you could go on the side closest to the airport and drive around. That's fine. But I think it's not unreasonable to say that Cayman drivers don't do well with minor traffic delays. Can you just imagine if every single morning you had them buses parked along or in South Sound where they're meeting cruise ship passengers? Have you seen cruise ship passengers walking on the street? They act like they never walked on the street before. I don't want that mess, when I go into work in the morning, people just walking into the street. Negative. So I really want to ask who is it, relieving traffic for? Because I don't think it's going to be the people on the eastern side that came out.
Sir.
My friend, I live in East End, right?
Good for you.
But I tell you, when the cruise ships are in there, I used to drive a taxi years ago. And when there's 5 ships in there, I just left and went home. Because the congestion is so bad in the center of town, nearby there.
Right.
And going along the 7 Mile Beach.
Right.
It is horrible.
Right. But if I can ask you then, from that perspective, now you're suggesting that putting the dock for the cruise in the port and the like out, well, first off, let me now assume, are you saying for the cruise passengers as well as the port or cargo, should it both be in the same location, and if so, Red Bay?
No, the port will remain where it is.
Okay.
Unless the Northwest, then they would have a safer harbor at Red Bay.
Okay.
And there'd be a lot less congestion in Georgetown and along the 7 Mile Beach, which the majority of the people use. Not just, it would be more problem coming in from eastern districts.
Right.
But it would help the majority of people.
Okay.
With less congestion in Georgetown.
Anything else you want to share? Okay. All right. Thanks very much, sir. No, Jerry, from that perspective, the idea of long-term planning and vision, the notion that you're looking at the greater good, this idea that, well, what we're doing today is going to be financed over 25, 50 years. It will affect a number of political administrations and equally generations. Right? So from that perspective, what the caller was sharing, a couple of things. When the sea captains and some others who were saying, let's look at what we're doing with the port, no decision was made yet. Some said the amount of material, aggregate, fill, what have you, that we'll be able to dredge could be used to build new roads that would alleviate some of these concerns. Now, that's a long-term project. I don't know how long it would take. I don't even know if I recall what sort of time frame. But let me ask a question from that perspective. This morning, I don't usually do this, and maybe as I've seemingly been inclined to share a little bit more about my outs and abouts some days. This morning, I happen to be coming back and experiencing that wonderful traffic that you guys experience between 8 and 10 or whatever it is in the mornings that you come in from the east, right? And horrendous. I don't know how people coming from these districts do it. You come into town, it's 2 lanes, but they're 2 lanes that maybe move an inch, a minute. Is that much?
I purposely stay home when I'm here to avoid the traffic, because when I did used to get into the traffic, I noticed between 6:30, between 6:30 and 8:30 specifically.
Maybe even closer to 9?
Yeah, even closer to 9. The traffic get bad, and I don't want to in any way discredit the caller at all. His
no,
opinion,
not at all.
His opinion is 100% valid as is mine, but I struggle a little bit with the caller there.
So let's look at the perspective, and I keep reflecting on a conversation that I had some students prior to the closure of the last school year. So these are high school students, okay, and talking about infrastructure and development and the like. Some put forward ideas. I don't have all their notes, but I kind of recall some of the sentiments that being students coming in with their parents, some are starting to drive, some have been accustomed to having to take the school bus, so they're leaving very, very early in the mornings, and there's an hour drive in a very short distance. One student said, there's a guy who would be running most times, and he passes the school bus multiple times. He's running in to work or out for an exercise, and they're stuck in traffic. Now, if I may ask then, are we looking at this and saying we can build more roads, but is there something that needs to be done in order to help us with our traffic congestion? And if so, what is that? Some students have said, well, a better, more efficient, public transport system.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's trains and monorails, whether it's those I don't know what she called it, but when you go to some of the resorts, the amusement parks, then you got those little cable cars, like something like that. But it takes takes many people.
Mm-hmm.
Are we even considering those things?
I don't know if we are, but we should be.
Mm-hmm.
I used to take public transport before I got a car, and even though I used to take it, I still had a problem with public transport. You're told that the buses are 15 minutes apart. That's not true.
But is that really public transport?
It is. They get their license from the Public Transport Board.
But they privately run.
But they get their license from the Public Transport Board.
And the reason why I ask, right, and deliberately so, because we say, and perhaps don't fully understand, that for many people from other jurisdictions, the idea of public transport has a particular connotation, liability, regulation, and the like.
Like in the UK, yeah.
Right. So when you say you're in public transport, now what we have here is, I don't know, not even quasi. I want to ask you more about that. I want to get to a couple of these WhatsApps, sure. But let's take this caller. Miss Susan's like, you got a call online. So let's go to our phones. Good afternoon, welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hey, my friend, how are you?
Yes, I'm a good man.
Good to hear from you, man.
Yes, so then, give me a minute and a half, now, 11 seconds. So let's head a bit, no?
Go right ahead, man.
In this time frame, in this era, right? We've been speaking around here, right?
Right.
And I had to speak, I know,
I know,
the point I made now, right? We got to think about innovation, right? With Dracula, working in role to do things came on, right? Preview the revenue in the islands. You understand? Different revenue. You started listen. I hope next general election, come down, came on, talk about this port thing. If it costs 40 million more on airport renovation, right? For experience, right? We can like a shell, a conch shell, or a snail, or soldier, get it beyond that. Think about listen. You got about Donald Trump, right? Right. That you did the sell about Theresa May.
Right.
General Corbyn, but I thought that scene, Calabria, right? Calabria people. There's a different regime, right? I think last Friday I called you. I'll tell you about the communism.
Right.
With China, Russia, Venezuela, and Cuba down the line. They are dictators. So who are the politicians who want to be trying to stall that? It didn't make no sense, Bobo. It didn't make no sense.
But if I can ask you, and I...
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thanks. The port, and I think your point is that, without a question, if we do something today, it's going to cost this amount. If we delay it 10, 15, 20 years, it's probably not just because of inflation, but it's going to probably cost more. I fully agree with you, right? But let me ask a question. If we're going to do something and we're not quite sure how we're going to do it, there's still some unanswered questions, whatever that thing is, would it be better to go ahead and figure it out along the way, or do we try to get all the the ducks in a row so that we know exactly what we're doing before we start?
Yeah, so then, like I say again, right? Like you say again, yeah. You corresponding, right? If you buy remorse or whatever, you cross your I's, dot your T's, you make your commas, right? You make a space, a paragraph, the point you make, Sterling, get it done in deal, right? You know what, China, right? In the US, controversy. My boy up now, Korea went up there all day, sent a 6 months up there for negotiation, right? I don't want to differ from the topic, not Sterling. But like I said again, get it done. I hear a commercial I'm talking, right?
Yes, sir.
4 decades, right? Like Shanghai town, right? People listen, get things modernized because they have a mega market going up Commander Bay. That's the point. All the things from here, all the resources coming here, right? get it done. The benefit of doubt. And Sterling, I call her on my behalf now. I have vision of my foresight now.
Yes, sir.
Done. That's my conclusion now. The body come take what I do now. But I talking, listen, Sterling, I voted 2005 election, 2009, and I signed the constitution. I put that applicable. I voted 2013, I voted 17. Right? Who come here, John, come later, so I come on here, they dictate this and that. I know it's Sterling here to beat us, and people came on now. You can vote for this person, vote for that person. No. I don't vote for. I vote for Ambita. You say? Hello?
Yes, sir, man. As I listen to you.
I saw them, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But then, okay, tomorrow, you think you have time tomorrow to go by and share your contributions with the panel and all of the people there at the South Sound Community Centre?
Tomorrow we got early level first and rise. I cut my yard, right?
Yeah.
And we should allow to engage with that now.
Yeah, right? Man. Between 12 and 4, man.
It's a positive thing now. But I don't want to be like, no, class. That I has done now.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope to get at least a chance to see it for my job, if nothing else, you know. So if you're there, you see me, I see you. All right?
Yeah, he'll up different. Not true. If it's a form, it's something, right? Hello. And I do it if it's a form, but I don't want to be like an outcast.
Not true.
I got these, you know, other woman things, but you know what I'm saying? All right, man. That's cool, man.
Cool, man. Cool.
Boy, I tell you.
No, but hey, listen. The thing though, what I like about it is that, as he shared, this is our community, and I think it's for all of us to be able to have a view. And if our view is sort of conflicting, can we still be respectful? Now, I think Ms. Susan wants us to take a break, and if she doesn't insist that we take a break, we got to take a break. Let's stay tuned. Jeffy, when we come back,
yes,
we change seats. All right, stay tuned to talk today.
Cayman's tourism product must be properly developed to ensure long-term prosperity for all.
According to the Environmental Impact Assessment, 3 years of construction will stop all water and shore-based activities in the Georgetown Harbor.
Snorkeling, scuba, glass bottom boat tours, and submarine tours currently generate around $10 million per annum
from our Georgetown Harbor reefs alone. This will result in the loss of hundreds of jobs and closure of many small businesses.
14 acres of healthy coral reefs will be destroyed.
Healthy coral reefs destroyed.
Cruise ship engines will stir up silt,
smothering the very product tourists come to see. Is this responsible stewardship of our precious natural resources? Will Caymanians really benefit from the piers?
Our government must get it right.
Must get it right.
For us now and for future generations.
Make an informed decision.
Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
And let's build our future together.
Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio. Enjoy your mix of pop, hip-hop,
dance hall, urban gospel, Latin hits,
reggae, and soca. The Super Jam Show is fueled by the proud sponsorship of
Savannah Pharmacy, just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
National Heroes Day is a time to celebrate our history, heritage, and be inspired for the future.
This year, we are honoring the people who pioneered the establishment of our first national symbol, the coat of arms, celebrating our journey to modern-day Cayman, and recognizing organizations who served our community for over 50 years.
The ceremony begins at 9 a.m. on National Heroes Day, Monday, January 28th, at Hero Square in Georgetown, with live entertainment and refreshments following the celebrations.
For more information, contact National Events at gov.ky or call 244-3612.
This National Heroes Day, Monday, January 28th.
Show your national pride
and celebrate Cayman
as we pay tribute to our national heroes.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
All
the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks to Jeffy for joining us. And, the thing is that sometimes, Jeffy, I think unlike you, many people don't have the courage, as it were, don't feel the sense of conviction and confidence to speak and share our view. And, sorry, Susan? Oh, okay. Yeah, he looks handsome, huh?
No.
Haircut, all right.
Thank you.
For those who don't know, but yet, Susan has the ability to whisper sweet nothings in my ear, but she doesn't. She always just tells me, pay attention and behave, right? So she controls it. Jeff, you see how the master at work, right?
That's right.
She's behind the scenes.
I don't even know why Susan keep hanging around with you. Like, Susan shouldn't be doing this to herself. Like, she should be hanging around people of good reputation. She's talking with Mr. Loxer right now. Good gentleman, and then there's you. There's a fine line. And just crossed it.
You know what? Just because you're not come back Monday. No, but seriously, have a safe trip Monday. Safe flight, man.
Thank you, man.
But the notion that sharing an opinion, getting people to spark a discussion, they may hear somebody say something and automatically conclude, well, that's their view.
Yeah.
As opposed to it could be their view, but maybe it's intended that, well, what do you think about it? Challenge the thought process. So as we're talking about the Red Bay issue and the notion that may be the worst place to put any kind of cruise or port or the like, or maybe the best place. Can I share with you, for your opinion, if you want to weigh in, and for the listening public, sentiments that we've heard from different people.
Sure.
Maybe the port and for the cruise and for the cargo, maybe they need to be separated. Maybe you put the cargo operation in one area and the cruise operation in another area.
Right.
And for instance, someone said there are going to be an environmental impact and economic cost. Fair enough. But put the cargo in the North Sound, have the cargo ships navigate. They come right in there. The port authorities, cargo distribution center isn't that far from there. A lot of the things that happen is right there. So industrial park.
Yeah.
Some have suggested, well, maybe you have cruise ports, one by West Bay, Turtle Farm, somewhere about. One maybe in town, maybe one somewhere in Georgetown, maybe one East End, Borden town. Multiple cargo cruise ports around.
Locations.
Any thoughts?
I think it's something that we should consider. I don't to say don't consider it to me gives the inclination that there is already a right and a wrong. I don't think that there's a right and a wrong. I think there are many options. You just have to find the best option. And I said this a couple of days ago when I was on elsewhere, but I don't have enough information for me personally to kind of weigh in on where I think some either the port or the Cruise Burton facility should be. Not the Cruise Burton facility, the
cargo port.
Sorry.
Right.
I feel like I don't know enough about it, but I think it's something that we should consider. We really do have a lot of traffic in town as it is now. When you have all these cruise ships coming in, you also have the truck drivers with the containers driving in and out. It is a bit claustrophobic-ish, and maybe we should consider splitting it up.
Well, let me ask that, and this is again. There are times when you get an opportunity to hear very candidly from people. Some would say, loose lips sink ships. So they may have had a bit of libation and they might be inclined to share. They may have had a frustrating day and they just need to vent. Or it may be that they have, in their minds, found a listening ear that at the very least can objectively listen, hold it in confidence and the like. So a number of people have shared that when it comes to this whole petition for a referendum, their reasoning for signing isn't that they're anti or pro or for or against or what have you. Simply that they believe, just like you said, there is more information to be had. They need more details in order to decide.
Yeah.
And it may be.
I signed it.
Yeah.
I signed it, but I don't feel like I have enough information. I don't feel any one of the particular sides have convinced me fully, supportive or against. I would like to know more information. For me, the concerns are, number one, for me, is environmental. Other people, that might not be the number one priority.
Right.
But for me, environment is number one.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I'm not against the idea of a port.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that as a country, we kind of all agree that this is what we're comfortable with, and I don't think we have even that vague notion. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. I signed the petition because I think it's healthy. It's actually
it is.
Almost incumbent upon a voter to be able to participate in a democracy. Your government is being asked to expend, it depends on who you listen to, $300, $400, $500 million, $1 billion. There's going to be money that's going to be spent. But perhaps even more importantly, and I don't mean to offend those who believe the economics is the most important or who believe the environment is the most important, there's going to be an environmental impact of sorts, right? But more important to me is that this thing is going to span, we're told, 25 years, right? And in that time, the port. So,
really? 25, okay.
So they're going to be maybe financed over 25 years.
Okay, yeah.
The existing port now is a 40-year, and some were saying, oh, it's old now, did it? Well, I think at 40, they're starting to really, get good, you know what I mean? And I'll leave that as it is, right? So that's because you're 40, don't mean you know.
Right.
I mean, that's 40 years, I'm going to be 32 CI, you never know. But nonetheless, at that point, right, you get the idea that, politically speaking, if we still remain in a 4-year political cycle, that's a number of administrations. It could be the same people elected for that 25 years. It could be a lot of new faces. But a lot of things can unfold in that 25, 50 years or what have you.
Yeah.
So this ongoing impact on all of us, the notion that maybe the priority is the cruise passenger, maybe the priority is the cargo. How are we balancing all of those seemingly competing interests? And if there is an opportunity to get more information, more detailed information, why not?
Yeah, right. Why not? You know, I want more information.
Yeah. Well, let me ask from that perspective. And this was part of a comment that was shared earlier that reflected the same sentiment that the fellow expressed some time back. He said that, and I mean, this was long before Christmas. He said, all of a sudden now in our country, we have a scenario where on one hand you have the government and the people who are pro-port, because we've given them a label, trying to convince the public that this is the way to go, and then you have people that we've labeled anti-port who are spending money and time and trying, and he thought, you're having this debate and there's no information, right? Now, Susan says, hold her thought while she goes to the thing. Yeah, I do, Susan, I do. I'm trying to get her on the air, but that's what, I guess we have to have her in the studio another time. Let's pause and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk today.
Radio K-Man. Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Today and through the weekend, the staff and volunteers involved in the extended after-school program offered through government schools are getting specialized training at this year's YMCA Leaders for Youth Conference. YMCA Cayman manages the after-school program and organizes the conference to ensure 120-plus staff and volunteers have the skills, strategies, and energy needed to provide the best programs possible. The extended after-school program is offered to over 1,300 youths across 9 sites and 15 different schools across Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. The man who helped free the Duke of Edinburgh from his Land Rover after his crash has described how he saw the vehicle tearing across the road. Prince Philip, 97, was not injured in Thursday's crash, also involving a Kia, and is recovering at Sandringham. A 9-month-old baby in the Kia was uninjured. The driver, a 28-year-old woman, had cuts, while a 45-year-old female passenger broke her wrist. Roy Warren said the Duke asked about their welfare after the crash. U.S. President Donald Trump has hit back over a news report that he directed his then personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, to lie to Congress. BuzzFeed News said Mr. Trump had instructed Cohen to lie about plans to build a Trump Tower in Moscow. Cohen was convicted over the case last month. Mr. Trump said the lawyer was lying about the Moscow project to reduce his jail time. Democratic politicians say they will investigate the BuzzFeed allegations. And Belgium students skipped school to demand action. Thousands of students have skipped school in Belgium to join a march demanding greater action on climate change. About 12,500 young people took part in Thursday's protests in Brussels. They have vowed to return to demonstrate every week until world leaders take notice. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Jevi joins us, and Jevi, we have a couple of WhatsApps. I want to maybe share, with our listeners and get some input. Let's just go pick up this first one here. And those who are sharing, want to. Now, this came in right after our last guests were here. Okay. And unfortunately, when I first read it, I didn't get back to it. But so it's a question that maybe we can ask ourselves and the listeners. And the discussion being that, with the peers, how things work out. And this listener is asking, how do we draw the conclusion that the peers alone, the new cruise peers, will increase the number of cruise visitors? So the last time I checked, total passengers on 4 mega ships would be approximately equal to the number of passengers on the maximum of 8 ships that can be currently tendered. The additional economic benefit will derive partly from additional onshore time, as was already published at the last public meeting held at the Family Centre. That's when the tourism minister and the reps from the port, including the acting port director and the gentleman from cruise lines. Yeah. And, of course, there's the higher average spend from the visitors from the mega ships. Now, just as a pause, I've heard that before, but then I've heard some people say, well, the mega ships don't always have, higher spend. It just, so...
if you can read that first part again.
I will reread it, but let's just pick up a caller.
All right, let's do that.
Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, you two young men.
Good afternoon.
Because I'm good looking and you can ignore me that is older.
No, miss. Miss, I won't promise you that between the two of Anna, I would always listen to you and not Sterling all of the time. I want to make you that promise.
Okay, I got you.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been talking about the transportation and whatnot. That's a huge, huge issue. I would agree. But do we want Cayman, this little dot that the seaman got it on the map, looking like a huge, huge city instead of an island with all this stuff that they're talking about. Jerry, since you're in Europe, take my advice, young man. I could be your mama. Okay. Take my advice and travel Europe since you're there, and see how places. I'm speaking about Switzerland because that's where my husband is from, and I am a citizen of that country as well. Their transportation issues. See, Switzerland doesn't have an ocean. They only have rivers and lakes. So it's no big cruise ships or anything going in there. But you take that time, that advantage of that time and travel Europe. I mean, it's the easiest way to travel, to see. Go by train, you can go by ferry, you can, in places like Germany and Austria and about France and about there, you can go by ship if you want to. Getting back to the cruise port. But we're not speaking about what are we doing with the environment, that God-given stuff that He gave us to take care of. We're destroying it. Not a cruise port into town. Find some other way. And by the way, the big trucks that take off, they, unload the containers from the the cargo ships. They usually do it at night. Peter and myself have sat down there many Saturday nights and watch them doing it. We sit by Atlantis and watch them doing it. It's seldom they do that in the day especially when cruise ships are in. Now, I've been on many cruises, and when they're talking about right into the port, right into the harbor, cruise piers, even if we had cruise piers, and where they're going to think about building it, and it's rough seas, people still ain't going to get off. And if they get off, what do? They go right back on again. They take a few pictures. If those shops think that they can shop, they got a sad mistake. They take pictures, they walk around, they may take one or two tours, and they go back on the ship because that's what they paid for. The ship, they go back to eat, so there goes their restaurants. They don't patronize the restaurants. And then another thing, they're only building 3 or 4 mega ships in the next 10 years or more. You think all of them mega ships is going to come in here? Maybe one once a week. And I wish they would stop telling the lies about if we don't have the port. We heard that song before because somebody want to make, or some persons want to make a lot of money. They better think about the environment and what, because this island is very, very small. Now, talking about places to go and visit, I've been to Singapore. They have one of the biggest cargo docks, if not the biggest in the world. And Singapore, not much bigger than Cayman. 1 million people travel from Malaysia to Singapore every day, back and forth to their work, and then they go back home. Indonesia, places like that. Now, if they can control, they have some of the strictest laws it is around. And a friend of ours lent us a book, The Man That Taught about all of this and has made Singapore the way it is. The Man and His Ideas is the title of the book. Huge hardback book. And I'm glad that that friend lent it to us. Now, we need to think about about our environment, first of all, and what are we doing to it. And second, it's not about the owners of businesses and whatnot. They're thinking about making money, but if they destroy that environment, it's no money to be made because nobody would want to come here. They don't come to see cable cars and big skyscrapers and whatnot. They left all of that behind. We need to keep this like an island. I mean, that 7 Mile area is Loon Concrete. Now, Northwest Point Road, where I live, is building after building is going up. Loon Concrete, we're doing nothing about it. Destroying the environment. Destroying the environment. But I'm not going to keep you two good-looking boys any longer because somebody else may want to get on. But I am not for that cruise ship pier into town.
Mm-hmm. Hey, thanks very much, Mom.
Thank you so much.
Jerry, Miss Susan reminds us one final break. But when we come back, we'll get back to some of these WhatsApps and have Jerry share with us. Stay tuned, please, for Talk Today.
Lucky Slice Pizza.
It's love at first bite. Shaking your radio 3 to 6 weekdays.
Oh my God! From Radio Cayman Super Jam Showdown.
May I have your attention?
Yo, one love.
Hip hop leader, Jay-Z.
Peace, y'all. This is Nas.
Peace.
Super Jam.
Is proudly sponsored by
Lucky Slice Pizza.
It's love at first bite. Call 949-3456 or visit Cayman Pizza to place your order today.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better.
Hello, I'm Joseph Woods, the Acting Port Director. Our port facility is the hub of the Cayman Islands commerce and economic activity, handling $658 million in imported goods annually. From groceries to construction materials, all sectors of our economy depend on the port. But it is now 40 years old. Its infrastructure is degrading, and we feel the strain from insufficient space for both cargo and cruise operations. The time is now. A new expanded port facility is needed to allow both cargo and cruise to operate efficiently and to support our island's continued growth and development. Support the port, support our tourism, support Cayman's continued growth and development.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Afternoon, welcome back to Talk Today. And in the studio, the voice is none other than Jevi, and it's not just only refreshing, Jevi, but it's inspiring. And I thank you for your company.
Thank you, man. Thank you for allowing me to come on.
Yes, man. And your sentiments during the break, I think, helps us to understand. I think the media globally, but specifically in Cayman.
That's scary.
Yeah.
The media.
The media.
It's something that is going to attack us all. That's what you keep hearing.
All right.
You're either a bit for,
Well, let's allow our citizens to participate. And for those who choose to send their thoughts on the WhatsApp, let me reread. You were asking me to reread this one.
Let's do that.
So the couple of comments on this number, let's take them in. It says, want us to sort of come to explain how we come to the conclusion that the piers alone will increase the number of cruise visitors. It says the last time I checked, total passengers on 4 mega ships would be approximately equal to the number of passengers on the maximum of 8 ships that can be currently tendered.
Okay. Take a pause right there.
Okay.
How he or she, I'm not sure who wrote that. Yeah. How they phrase that.
You know how we use the masculine gender still, even though we know better? Yeah.
That's why I said it, but then I don't want people to assume that I know who it is.
And I went to the other day for a car. I said I need a battery for my car. She's... How do you know your car is a she?
Hey,
my boat is a she.
My car is a she. I'm telling you that.
Susan, your car is a she? See, her car is a she.
Anything that I take by ride is a she.
Okay.
I told you this is not going to go well. All right. So, can you just read that phrase?
Okay. So, last time I checked, total passengers on 4 mega ships would be approximately equal to the number of passengers on a maximum of 8 ships that can be currently tendered.
Okay, pause. That is 100% true. But that statement comes from the mindset that by building this cruise port and allowing these mega ships to come, that's automatically going to stop the smaller ships from coming. That's not going to be the case. It's going to be a case of the regular 8 ships coming, plus now the addition of the mega ships. That's a lot of people.
But the thing too, I mean, we understand that and this is only from people who work, whether they own or they're employed by the sector. They say when there are less ships, they have a better experience as employer, customer equally. There's more money being had because you can sort of manage the whole thing. Now, this comment goes on, partly the outline case, the business case talked about, 1 additional hour, right? Now, when we talk about the notion that the costing of the
facility,
it's a question that I ask. So, in trying to understand this, and I like people who challenge things, who talk.
Right.
And when asked, about to address the cost, so the cost will be determined when the preferred bidder is selected. Same would apply to any construction project. You have a ballpark in the business case, but it's not confirmed until the preferred bidder is selected. You chuckle. Okay, why?
Because I can't see anyone building something and the contractor going, well, we're gonna tell you how much it costs after you determine if you're gonna take our team or not. No.
Okay. You don't work that way.
They don't
you
work.
Sure?
I know I'm not paying for something like that. I'm not going to sit in a barber chair if I don't know how much that barber cut going to cost me. I'm sorry. That's me bringing it down to the very
but it's true, right?
Basic level. What construction project, you get the price after? Where?
So you're building your house. The guy said, "Don't worry, man.
Don't worry, man. We gonna build the house, and we gonna build. That's rundown level material, right? There.
I got treat you fairly, not treat you.
Yeah, take my word on it. Just take my word. It's gonna be an affordable home, and then boom, they build the home, and it's not affordable.
Yeah. It's also shared that it was, and I, appreciate when people can enlighten us, but also maybe, share the perspective. Says it was confirmed that the business case and the EIA, amongst other things, will be updated after the preferred bidder is selected, but before a final decision is made.
Say that again. After the preferred bidder is
confirmed.
Why after? What don't you when you creating when you if I'm hiring Sterling to do a service for me, and it is a contract thing. Everything in the contract is what we expect will happen. You expect to know the parameters of what you are allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. That is all supposed to be in a contract. How are we gonna find out this clause after a contract has been signed?
All right. Let's push on to our phones and rejoin this caller. Welcome back.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
You're back on Sterling.
Uh-huh.
You see this topic here, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a complex topic. It's a suppression topic. In a parking lot, right? In Cayman Islands, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a gate for that space, right? The square footage. And then in the long run, the population grow, you increase it. Look here, my property, right?
Mm-hmm.
I work on it 6 times now, right? You have to go through a procurement process, right? A contingency plan that may occur possibility, right? And then you get the CEO, a certificate of occupancy. So the whole scenario of it, think about it. You go through the stages, whatever capital project, you have to go through that differently, right? You feel me? You hear me, right?
Yeah.
So, like I say again, long-term master planning. And to me, I be this one now, all of my whole lifetime now. This project by the port now, this one look really long-term to me. This port one thing to me, because we listen. I told Arthur McLean and Anthony one time, but also on and give him McLean on talk show up the rooster. But the Hollis, the harbour, right? Right. I tell them put it about Eastern. They want that in the backyard. Now they complain about Eastern trying to follow them no more. Right?
Yeah.
We have lots of space for the infrastructure. Right? With the tower, fire station, whatever. No, they don't want that. Right? And now, you feel me something? You feel me?
Yeah, man, yeah.
I have my family member call yesterday talk show. My family member for the Black calling the talk show. Talk about the bush. They go around the house. They say, tell me, I take you that. They say, you're too small. They understand. You live and learn. But starting, the last time we missed, the fella on the show, we missed.
Jerry, that's me.
Yeah, I called a black one time. Last time, my gun talked to me. I tell the guys ganja. Remember? You go and Dutch Netherlands, it's about ganja, the airport and the malls. They get nothing. Legalize it. They go about the revenues, right? They worry about Cayman. Or revenues on the other segment that can benefit Cayman. Because you ask any tourists that come off the ship or boat, right? If they smoke newlywed, wedlock, or whatever, legalize that, right? To the fullest, they go about Cayman. Because in Cayman Islands, we put it in the carpet, they let you know who's smoking or smoking, and that's the point. And I quit the people like style. You feel me? Like Sterling,
yes, sir.
Sterling, and they meet tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, and I make it, and I'm sure.
Yeah, man.
I got engagements, but listen, everybody vision, it sounds constructive, positive, but Sterling, the port, listen to me, when you hear the advertisement, I heard it, even now, and they say 4 decades, it need it, man. Listen, she not run down before. You got to get her. She not face this. That's what I say.
No, I hear you, man.
That's cool. Absolutely.
Cool, man. Cool. The guy, is certainly, and they appreciate the listener responding and adding some other comments, sharing about the idea that these things, including the business case and the IA, is going to be updated after the preferred bidder is selected, but before a final decision, and adds that the selecting the preferred bidder takes place before the contract is signed, and the update is going to be done before the contract is signed. Now, I must share, in my very limited experience with hiring people to build stuff, right, I want to know what they're going to do. They want to know what it is I want done, so they can give me a price for it. And then we agree on this thing, and then they go forward. And there's a clear understanding. Let's say you're building a house, and you decide, well, listen, build it a 2x4, but during the process, you decide, listen, do the ground floor, the block, and the upstairs of the 2x4. There's a different material, probably a different price, a different type of work. You want to know those things, right? Maybe it's different this way. Yeah, maybe we just don't know.
I don't know. I'd rather know how much something costs ahead of time. I understand what the person wrote. That makes sense. What he says is, well, you pick who, but let's just say, you have a ballpark of an idea how much a service is going to cost,
but
before you make a final selection.
But even so, though, let's say you have a preferred bidder, and I'm just thinking aloud, so
sure,
because it's you encourage that. You unless this is something very specialized, right? So you're getting brain surgery, and you won't have access to 3 brain surgeons. Now they're all physicians. You may not necessarily go to the one who says, I'm a specialist, but I'm a podiatrist, right? You'll probably want the neurologist. Fair enough, they're all physicians. But when you're looking at preferred bidders, are the ones that are not selected disadvantaged? Are you making sure that it's all, at least appears to be, as much above board as possible, so that you're not perceived to be favoring one, whether deliberate or otherwise, all right? And the other thing, when you're talking about paying for something, I know someone who says, she did not like going to, those places where you go to buy lunch, you put it in your lunch container, and then you wait.
Yeah.
And afterwards, you're thinking it's going to be $10 and it's $20.
Yeah.
Because you didn't realize. So she didn't like that. She wanted to go to somewhere where I'm ordering this, you're giving me this, and I'm going to pay for this.
But I understand that. I understand that sentiment. I don't mind that. But as long as it's clearly said, $4.99 per pound, you know how much it costs.
Yeah.
We don't know. I'm not trying to stir up nothing. I'm not trying to get in any trouble.
But try harder, man.
I'm just trying to say that this is something that I get asked a lot, and I don't know. And we really need to start saying, right. I don't know.
Let me ask a question. And again, it may not be appropriate to compare the construction of a port, airport, or cruise port, especially if it's in water, with the construction of a house.
Sure.
Right? But only because a friend of mine came to me and he said, okay, I want to establish a budget, for how much I should be spending on my house, so I can go to the bank and see if I can qualify. Well, my first thing is, what are you building? All right? Are you building this kind of house or this kind of house? Are you building on this type of thing? And so speaks to an engineer who says, I can give you a rough idea that you can look at these relative costs, but again, I need to see your plans, so I know your specifications. And in listening to what engineers said, she said, listen, when it comes to your finishes, what tiles you're going to pick,
right,
the selection of your windows, those things can add $5,000 to your bill or $50,000. Are you going to buy your appliance that is just a standard, simple wash and dry and stove and fridge, or are you going to go one that not only self-cleaning but self-cooking and self-moving? I mean, which one are you paying for? Right?
Can I say this, because I know we have to wrap up too?
Yeah.
Anything that you are purchasing, the first question you ask is how much it costs. The only way that you don't ask how much it costs is if you're not paying it. That's all I'm saying. Let's leave it there.
All right, that's a good place to leave it. Jeff, listen, have a wonderful rest of your weekend here.
Thank you.
Thank you. A very safe trip, but an enjoyable semester. Is that what they call it over in the UK?
Yes, they call it semester.
Okay.
I called it cold.
Okay.
It's just always cold. What semester you in? Cold.
Cool. Okay. And you're flat?
Flat is cold. Yeah. I'm joking. It's pretty warm. I have nice people who taking care. Who taking care of me, and I take care of them. So
Yeah. Well, I tell you
we family.
You're family now, eh?
We family.
And stay away from the spice.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
I must thank you. I went to, as I promised you, my students, and I asked them about it. And one knew about it, and the others did not. And so that was a great discussion.
I'm glad it got out there, man.
No, I did not know.
Yeah, it's a serious thing.
I did not know. And
like I said, it could catch innocent people. Like I said, I really didn't know what it was, and I was hell-bent. This is what we're going to buy, just not knowing.
Well, for those who don't know, you can call us Monday, we'll tell you, but there are many students who may not necessarily have liked certain seasonings in their food, like their food, they may have complained.
Yeah, the Queen apparently doesn't like garlic. I saw that in a documentary. I found that blasphemous on all levels, but...
But isn't it vampires that don't like garlic?
See, listen, those are two valid pieces of information. Let's determine what we want to do with it from there.
I think the one that we should focus on, when you're not paying for something, you don't worry about it. Listen, all the best here. We'll see you when you return.
Thank you.
And,
yes.
For
Summer
2019. Yeah, which is this year.
Yeah.
And to all of you out there who are students, whether you're schooling locally or online, or whether you're traveling, have a successful but a safe, enjoyable semester. For the rest of us, whether it's our students or otherwise, our children, let's be in prayer, for our children, their success, but also their safety.
Yes.
I think Monday's around the corner. We have a lot of things in store. I decide what Susan, confirms for us. But, when she tells me, I'll know. Until Monday, please join Mr. Art for the record and then come back for Talk Today after the midday news. And until then, be blessed.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.